Okay, let's talk about foreclosures. A lot of people are asking me, why do we have so many foreclosures all of a sudden? We're 5 years down the road from 2007, which was when Canada, albeit has been very responsible, had the loosest in their history mortgage requirements. We had zero down, we had people doing no income qualifiers, we had B lenders that no longer exist in the marketplace that were lending money, and a lot of people that maybe couldn't afford the homes that they bought or had bought with zero down have now, after facing some economic challenges over the past few years, decided to walk away for the home or fallen behind. So why are some of these foreclosures priced extremely well while others seem to be priced a little bit too high? Well, if the bank lent way more money than the home is now currently worth, then they are in a situation where they don't have the authority to sell it. A lot of times these banks lent on inflated values, or it could just be timing. But occasionally there are these fantastic opportunities where the home had more than one mortgage on it. Well, whomever is doing the foreclosing doesn't have to pay any mind to the other mortgages that exist on the title. So there can be tremendous opportunity there because it can sell for just enough to clear the first mortgage balance. So that's where these real opportunities in the courthouse will exist. I want to explain, if you find a property and say you go and you visit it with your realtor and you decide you like the property and you want to make an offer on it, here's this process now. You'll make an offer, and remember, you're making an offer to the bank, and they've got hundreds of homes listed, and it can take up to a week, an honest week, sometimes longer, to get a response from them. And I know that's very, very frustrating, but remember, you're not dealing with a typical seller, so you have to bear that in mind. Another thing to bear in mind is that the banks don't pad their prices. They've priced their homes as low as they have the authority to price them because they want a quick sale. They want to get these properties off their books. Banks don't deal in emotion, and they don't pad their prices. So you can bet that your counter offer is going to be very, very close to their listed price. So if you think the price is too high on the property and you want to make a low ball, my recommendation, you can, but my recommendation is to keep shopping. There's lots of homes out there that are priced really, really well. So you've got the property, you've got an accepted offer. Now you've got an acceptable amount of time, maybe a week, 10 days, to do your due diligence. You usually still will have your subject to financing and a home inspection and title search, etc. So it's going to be up to you and your agent now at this point to uncover all the facts and do the due diligence, because along with that offer you signed what's called a Schedule A. And a Schedule A basically is an as is, whereas the bank makes no representations or warranties, and they're literally saying you're taking 100% of the risk. You can't come back to the bank and say anything. So at this point you need to be very, very careful that you uncover all the facts and make sure that the home is exactly what you're looking for. So now you get to the point where you're ready to remove your conditions and put your deposit in place. Is once you've removed your conditions, put up your deposit, you've got a court date that will be set. Typically it's about 2 weeks from when you remove your conditions. So here's where it gets interesting. That realtor that has the home listed for the bank, over the next 2 weeks while we're waiting for the court date, is going to be calling all the agents that showed the property and letting them know that, hey, we have an accepted offer, here's what the accepted offer is, and if you'd like to outbid that, you may show up to court, and we encourage you to show up to court with a sealed bid and take a shot at it there. So he's trying to create some competition. So that's kind of the downside, is that you've gone through the process of offering, through all your due diligence, and now you've tied up your deposit money only to potentially be taken out by another party at the courthouse. So that's the downside. However, somebody needs to get the ball rolling, and often is the case, you'll be totally uncontested at the court. So if you like the property, still you want to move forward, but there is a slight disadvantage to being the first guy in. So what happens when these other folks inevitably do show up to the courthouse? Well, there's no set process, but it can go one of two ways. Either the judge will say, look, we've got a really busy day today, a full docket, so what we're going to do is, in the interest of time, everybody just put their best foot forward, write your best offer, and I'll read them aloud, and the best offer will be the one that gets it. All of these offers, by the way, have to be subject free and have to have a deposit accompanying them, full certified funds deposit. The other option that the judge may take is she may say, I'm going to read all of the bids aloud, and the ones, everybody will be able to hear it, and the ones that want to stay in the negotiations will have another opportunity to go outside, speak with their realtor or their counsel, come back in with their final offer, and then she'll read those aloud, and the best one will get it. So it can go one of two ways. So it's a bit of a crapshoot, and it's kind of interesting. It can be a bit of a circus. The main thing here is you don't want to get caught up in this pseudo auction. If you watched my flipping tutorial, I talked about how important it is to stay on a budget and buy right these days. And the reality is there's going to be people that show up to these court auctions, and they're a different kind of buyer. I mean, most of the people that I represent are buying for an investment, or they're buying for a flip. But occasionally you do find folks that are buying their happily ever after home. And you have to be aware of these folks, because they will bid way more than you just to make sure that they get the home, because they've got some emotional attachment to it. Bottom line, let them. There's going to be lots of properties that are coming online through foreclosures. You want to be making sure you get a good deal. That's the whole point of risking, an as is where is sale, is to make sure you're getting a really, really good deal. So don't be discouraged if someone else comes in and takes you out. Congratulate them, tell them to enjoy the house, move on. That's basically it. I love representing folks in foreclosure proceedings, partially because there's so much opportunity, and partially because maybe I always kind of wanted to be a lawyer and have a little Denny Crane action in the courthouse. But either way, I hope you found this helpful.